Welcome to Folding Towels, a podcast for massage therapists with Jackie and David. If you are enjoying our episodes and want to support the production, consider buying us a coffee. Your contributions help us bring you more insightful discussions and expert interviews. Follow the link in the show notes or visit buymeacoffee.com/Folding Towels podcast to contribute, and thank you for your support. Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Folding Towels podcast. I am David.
And I'm Jackie. How are you, David?
I'm doing really well, Jackie. I'm excited today.
I know, me too. Why are you so excited, David? Tell everybody.
We are joined today by Carolyn Boldt, and Carolyn is from Crossfields, and she has expertise that I think that you're going to find quite interesting today, Jackie. So Carolyn is passionate about holistic health and wellness and is an advocate for the environment of your space and how that can impact on your success. It's sounding amazing, isn't it?
I am actually really excited to chat with her today. I can't wait.
Welcome, Carolyn. How are you today?
I am great. How are you guys? It's good to have you here. So let's see, it's late at night for me and early in the morning for you, and I love it.
It certainly is. It's one of the great things about technology is now that we can reach across the globe to anyone and borrow from the skills from anyone.
Yes, it's amazing. Amazing.
So Carolyn has 40 years of experience in commercial interior design and industry and holds a Bachelor of Science in Interior Architectural Design from the University of Texas in Austin. In 2004, she and her husband, Scott, co-founded Crossfields as a design build firm in Atlanta. And in 2011, they changed their focus to expand the impact of holistic health by elevating the public's image of alternative medicine through virtually creating outstanding healing environments nationwide. I'm going to sum this up, Carolyn, and spoiler alert, and just say, when I was at cooking and chefing school, we had this saying, which was, the first bite is with the eye. How does that resonate with you?
Absolutely. We buy first with our eyes. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. We're going to kick things off with a question that we ask all of our guests. Who is your favorite superhero and why?
Okay, so I'm a female, so my favorite superhero is Wonder Woman. I mean, let's just face it. She's the woman in the picture, and she's powerful and strong and gorgeous all at the same time. So who wouldn't want to be Superwoman? So as a business owner, you need inspirations like that. And she would be a type of inspiration. So, yeah.
And such a wonderful ethical heart as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I love Wonder Woman too. She's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
The lasso of truth. I think we could all do with that as well.
Yes. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
all right. Take us on this journey with us, Carolyn. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how this has led you to specialize in designing spaces for health clinics?
yeah. So I was, I think, a fortunate person in that when I was 14, I got exposed to architectural and interior design. My father was a design engineer at NASA. And yes, I'm old. And he was designing the interior design of he was designing the space station. And they brought in, yeah, seriously. And he designed it 20 years before it was actually, he was always doing things 20 years ahead. And so but NASA brought in an architect to help with the understanding of how to design the interior of the space station, because they realized that they're going to put people in this little bitty space for months on end. They wanted to make sure they weren't going to go crazy. So he came in and worked with the team at NASA, and he was from Florida, and we were in Texas, in Houston. And so my dad would have him over and have dinner, have mom cook a home-cooked dinner, et cetera. And they would sit in the living room and philosophize about the psychology of space. And yeah, I was 14, and I was just mesmerized. And I already wasn't a student of art, and I love psychology. And this was a way to kind of bring it together. And so then I went on to go study design and architecture at the University of Texas, ended up in Atlanta doing always done commercial design, ended up doing design build projects in Atlanta with my husband, who's a general contractor. Started working at Life University in 2004-ish. And that was the chiropractic college here, the large chiropractic college, and got immersed in just the philosophies of chiropractic specifically. And I was already a chiropractic patient. I was already a holistic patient, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I began to understand that they were struggling. And just like you were talking about earlier, is that you go to school, you learn how to do your profession, but you really don't learn business. And one of the pieces of business that I knew, because all I had ever worked in is large corporate design, was that interior design, interior architecture is a very viable piece of building a business. And a smaller practitioner just didn't really understand that. So we had an opportunity to start teaching classes, and that led us to kind of reinventing ourselves. And we started doing design virtually all over the world. Yes, we can do it in Australia too. And with the goal to help elevate the alternative healthcare profession, elevate that whole side that we felt so strong about. So that's what we've been doing.
Well, I've got a background in government, and I've worked in government sector for years. And the most popular color within the government office is grey. Like grey carpets, grey petitions, grey desks, and everyone in the buildings is miserable.
Miserable. It is miserable.
Shocking, David. Shocking.
Color and functionality does not seem to take any precedence in those environments, and it's how many people can you squeeze in, and how much productivity can you squeeze out.
Yes, and yeah, it's a little bit more of a, what do you call it, like a production factory, right?
Yeah.
More than anything else.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, the color gray generally is a calming, neutral color, but to be nothing but gray and not having anything of interest to be part of that can create it's drab.
It's very drab.
Very drab.
I don't like many of my colleagues. So let's talk about spaces.
Yeah.
In previous podcasts, I've talked about my own space, which is very functional. It's clean, it's bright, it's free of clutter, but it's not a beautiful space. And Jackie's, on the other hand, is cozy and feels like a nest. What do you say to the massage therapists who say working from a spare room in their home, or maybe they're behind a curtain at a gym? And how can they still create a welcoming space?
Well, it's interesting that you both have different spaces. So that tells me, that you probably have different clientele. Do you? Do you
Yes.
both have different clientele? Okay.
Very much so.
So remember, when you do commercial design, it's not a luxury like it is residential design. Residential design is all about how you want to feel in your space, whether it's a luxury or not. At the expense of a designer is usually considered a luxury. In the business environment, design is like your marketing. It's like the package around your brand. It's the package around your product. Okay. So imagine you are a cereal and you're on the shelves of a cereal, and you're a cereal that wants to appeal to no nonsense, no thrills, maybe athletes, maybe, someone that's just, let me get in there and just be as functional as possible. Your package is going to reflect that. And that's what you're going to use to attract those people that want to eat functional cereal, let's call it that, versus the one that wants the ones with all the berries and the little flus in it and the more involved experience. It's probably going to be more Jackie's experience. So do you have more male patients? And she has more, or I don't know if you call them patients in massage, but
yeah, maybe a third of my client load is male, but still 2/3 female.
I don't really see any men. Not really. Like maybe 1 or 2 clients out of all of mine are men. So
okay. That's interesting. And so out of your female clients, are they more business? Are they moms? Or do you see any commonality in the females?
A bit of everything, actually, across the ages as well. I would say that my my client load is very diverse, very very non-specific, and that's the way that I like things as well. I haven't chosen to specialize in a particular field,
Okay.
so a bit of everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Jackie, is
perhaps the oatmeal of the cereal aisle.
the oatmeal of the cereal aisle. Okay. Okay. Like good for everyone. Jackie,
Correct.
is yours similar or?
I tend to get a recurring theme with clients. So I do a fair whack of pregnancy. So my clients are often around the age 30, a little bit younger, only a little bit younger, often in their 30s. Or I see perimenopausal or menopausal women. So women slightly older, closer to 40, they might already be in their 40s, some even in their 50s. And probably my other cohort is working women in their 30s or 40s, whether or not they have children, they might or might not. But yeah, so I do tend to stick sort of to a bit of a demographic.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you've put a package out there that's going to appeal to those people as much as David's put a package out there that's more universal, that's going to appeal to all people.
Yes.
And so you've done that, whether you realize you did that on purpose or not. Do you know? You've done that. That's part of probably coming out of your own personality and your desires and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we were talking earlier, it's like that's what you design. You design according to who you're trying to attract. And David, if you were trying to attract what Jackie's attracting, you might need to cozy up and might need to change and might need to fluff up and might need to have some, additional little pampering and things of that sort. Because Jackie's not that you're not pampering, not that your massage is not pampering, but just the image of the fluff versus the image of yours is, do you tend to, I'm going to ask this, David, do you tend to have more of a therapeutic approach as opposed to more of a softening relaxation approach, or both of you the same?
Yes.
Or
so I would say that everything that I do in my therapeutic approach is with purpose. So and that's how I live my life as well. Everything has a purpose, no fluffy bits. Yeah, no superfluous things. If I'm purchasing a thing, it is utilitarian. It needs to have function to me. So the thought of putting cushions on a chair is foreign to me.
And so, so the people that you have as recurring, what you've created appeals to them also. So that's the whole point of this. There is no you're right and she's wrong or vice versa. It's, the idea that you have created an environment that keeps people wanting to come back. Now, if you don't have any patients or clients or whatever, what do you call you don't call them patients. What do you call them? Clients?
Usually clients.
Clients.
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't have any clients, then you need to kind of rethink what am I doing? Am I putting it off? Do I have enough people? Do I have what I need to have? So, but that's kind of the whole, or if you want to move into something different, you might need to change or something. But that's the idea. It's like, who's your ideal? And I love what you said. You just kind of want to be the oatmeal. That was great. You want to be the oatmeal. So you appeal to everyone, that you're not going to appeal to the one that want the fluff.
Yes,
because
correct.
you don't have the fluff to give them. Yeah. So that's good. That's great.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question?
Yes. Yeah. So when a therapist is evaluating their space, what are the key elements they should focus on to make it both functional and inviting?
So it continues to go back to, what are you trying to do? Now, I'm going to say a couple of things. If you have a space that's inside another space that you can't control, you want to make sure that space you can't control it's kind of as you talk about curb appeal, it's the curb appeal into your space. So let's just say I know we've worked with massage therapists that are inside a gym. Typically, when you're inside a gym, you're working with, the goal would be you're working with athletes, you're working with people that are working on performance, and they're working on it's part of their regiment to get stronger and healthier and all of those things, right? So it can be inside a gym. But if you're going to try to be inside a gym and want the fluffy med spa, you're probably going to have a hard time because you can't get them through the gym to the fluffy med spa, even if your space is a fluffy med spa. So that's something that's hard to do. So you have to decide where you put yourself is going to lead people through to who you want them to be. And at the same time, you want to be in a poshy med spa kind of thing. You're going to need to be in an environment, a space that's going to lead them into that also. Does that make sense?
Mm.
And then once you create that space, once you're in that space, then the invitingness has to do with the environment you're trying to create. So is it just functional? I mean, I would say that every massage space needs to be as quiet as possible. That's a key. And I know that that's really hard sometimes. And I know we've worked with doctors that have massage therapists within their offices, and getting that space quiet enough for that massage therapist to have that serene environment, no matter what they're working with. Sometimes massage, like I said, we work with a lot of chiropractors, and they'll have massage therapists as part of the therapy that they want their patients to go through. And it won't be received very well if that space is not, it needs to be quiet. I'm sorry. I have this story I have to tell you. I have to tell you this story. So you think about going on a cruise, and I get regular massages, just so you know. I get regular massages as part of my regimen.
Excellent.
I do like a little bit of the posh. I'm one of those, okay, Jackie, but I don't have to go all the way to the fancy med spa. I'm spa, every time. But if I'm in a nice hotel, that's what I'm going to do. I want to go to the spa. So that's kind of who I am. But my husband's not, if he goes, he's more like, he just make me work, make my body feel better, not like make my whole, I don't know. It's a different, we talked about it.
Yeah.
So we were on a cruise years ago, and my husband and I signed up for a couples massage, and we got into this poshy space. And you pay a lot of money for a massage on a cruise, and you expect a lot. And we got there, and beautiful music and the aromatherapy going and all of those things. And this was probably 20 years ago, but I still remember it like it was yesterday. That while we were in the space, there was like this banging. You hear me hitting on the thing. I was like, what is that? They had put the kids center above the massage space. And it was like kids playground where kids were jumping, and you couldn't hear the sound of kids. All you could hear is the pounding and the vibration. It was like, so we did stop the massage, and we asked for our money back, and I think they gave us back half of it. But still, it was like, that's just, it was poorly designed. Okay. So that's an extreme of poorly designed, that you want to make sure that what you have around you can control as much as you can and get it quiet.
Well, David has experience with the world of massage / chiropractic.
Well, even before that. Okay. So yes, I had a room in a chiropractic clinic, and a very thin wall between myself and the chiropractor who used to use the drop table.
Oh, yes.
So that would go with a crash fairly frequently.
Yes. Yeah.
And on the other side of the wall was a cafe. So you'd get the banging of the group head and the shuffling of chairs and the music coming through the wall. And I learned very quickly that when I had relaxation massage as an option on my menu, that people who were coming in for relaxation were not particularly happy with that environment, unless they were the type of person where background noise just didn't faze them at all. But those who are a bit sensitive, maybe they had a trauma background, when we're hypervigilant, they were not impressed with that area. But even before that, I got excited when a room came up in a gym, and I thought, oh, this is great. I'll work with Ferraris of the human world in a CrossFit gym.
Yeah.
And my branding wasn't attracting that sort of person. So they're coming into a CrossFit environment where they're walking through gym equipment. And most of the time the gym was quiet, except when they had a class on. Then you get the metal music blaring.
Yeah.
And the dropping of weights directly outside the room. And as it happened, when I inspected the room, I didn't realize that there was a panel beater next door. So occasionally you'd get the sound of beating metal and then the smell of paint fumes coming in as well. So I was only there for a few months before I called it quits.
Yes.
It was not
yes.
consistent with my brand.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. So you're spot on. So, those type of environmental things are probably even more, make sure you're going into a space that just validates everything you're saying. So, and then you go from there into what's your brand? Is it clean and simple and minimalistic, or is it fluffy and flowery and, what is it? And you create accordingly. So,
well, what can we ask about budget? Is there something that people can do if they maybe don't want to redo their entire room, but working with a limited budget? How can you elevate your space if you don't have a lot of money?
So are you just talking about a single room, or are you not a whole massage clinic?
I'm probably implying a single room. Yeah.
And a single room and stuff. Well, I want to say what we talk about, paint is the least expensive thing that you can do to make the biggest impact. But you're also in rooms that are typically dark. So lighting is, making sure that the lighting is very, very controllable for you and very, very serene. But, to be real honest with you, the massage table and the comfort of the massage table, is where I put my money, and the sheets and the things that you put around it so that because people are touching that, everything else is dark. They don't have to see it the same way.
Yeah.
So
that's an excellent point, actually.
Having had massages, it does make a difference, And I went through a phase where I had a mobile massage, and they came with not very long, because it was just a period that the place I was going under renovation. So I did mobile massage for a while. And, I was used to the nice table that went up and down and heated and all of those things. And then I was being massaged on just a portable table, which it wasn't uncomfortable, but it didn't feel the same value. I didn't want to pay as much for it.
Yeah.
I also I also want to just say that I actually wrote it. I don't even know if the article is still there. I was going to I would just say your regular neighborhood massage clinic, right? Nice, clean. Once you find a great massage therapist, you just want to keep going back to them, all of those things. But my daughter treated me to a fancy mother-daughter spa. And, I paid 2.5 times as much money for we paid each other's, is how we treated each other for Mother's Day. I paid 2.5 times much money, but it was the whole experience. I walked in, I got in a robe, I was sitting and having tea, and I was champagne before we started. The room was twice as big. I could feel it right away. It was twice as big. There was just the whole thing, the whole experience that was going on was more like a fancy hotel spa. And so you paid for what, was the massage therapist better? Actually, no, he wasn't better than my therapist in my neighborhood spa. So just sharing.
Well, that's really interesting that you bring up the cost and the location, because typically in Australia, mobile massage, you do pay a little bit more for it. Now, it's not going to be as much as if you're going to a day spa, but you're typically paying more for that. I don't know if that's the same in the US, but yeah, that's really interesting.
So why do you pay more for the convenience of them coming there?
Yeah, people will charge a little bit extra because they're having to lug their table around. They've got to drive. You're paying for the hour of massage, but you're also paying for, a little bit of transport cost as well. Yeah.
But they don't have any overhead.
True.
The overhead is them
paying for convenience.
Around. You're paying for the convenience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Of them coming to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And being there and not having to,
Because it's more efficient for me to work out of my space and a person to come to see me every hour with a small gap in between, compared to driving half an hour, 45 minutes in between clients, and maybe only seeing 2 or 3 people in a day.
Yes, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
That makes sense too.
But
So
one
in a
of the
business,
crimes,
you just have to weigh it out, right?
that's
Yeah.
right. And
Yeah.
one of the crimes of people who do mobile massage, and there are plenty of people there who are not charging what I would consider to be enough for a mobile experience. They're coming in, and the key point of difference is that they're cheap, except that it's not that much of a point of difference because there's others who are cheap as well. And they do have that cheap table. And you lay on one of those cheap tables, and apart from them being uncomfortable, they often feel unsafe. They're that little bit rickety. And
Mhm.
in the back of my mind is this table going to collapse? and the key things that I focus on in my clinic, first of all, is being clean, but the other is being safe. And I want my client to feel safe, emotionally safe as well as physically safe. And people will lay on my table and say, wow, this is a comfortable table. Say, yes.
Yeah.
And in the back of my mind, it's like, it better be. I spent a lot of money on this table.
I know. But where you spend the money, you want to spend the money where you will get the most return on that investment, right? And in a massage situation, the two things, your table, because that's part of your product. Obviously, you being a really good masseuse is an important thing too. But then that, leading them into that experience would be the second one, and what you can do with that. So
that is really something, I guess, that we all think about. But when you bring it up that way and go, hey, this is really important, you don't really think of it that way. I want to tell you both, David knows this, last year, or I think it was around Christmas time last year, I borrowed a very expensive Meridian brand table off a friend of mine for a couple of months. And so it's a portable table, it's lightweight. It's about $1,500 to purchase. It's basically the most expensive, most lightweight, most comfortable table that you can get in Australia that's portable. And one of my clients, I only borrowed that for about 2 months off my friend. One of my clients that used it, she still asks me now, 9 months later, when are you getting yourself one of those tables? It was so good. It was so comfortable. And she still asks me. So that's really interesting.
So are you using a portable table in your space now?
So I do a little bit of mobile for some elderly clients. I do some aged care work. And then I also have a space in a studio that I have an electric table and people come to see me. Yeah.
Okay. So but you're referring to someone you're doing mobile with, that's going, why don't you bring me that wonderful mobile table?
Yeah.
That's it. So it's all about that. So so your table, and then just the whole environment when they come in.
So I've got a loaded question for you, Carolyn.
Okay.
So this is something which massage therapists will just debate amongst themselves. Anatomical posters or pictures of unicorns. What's your take on the kind of artwork that a therapist should choose for their space?
So it absolutely has to do with what their focus of their massage is. Absolutely. So having worked in chiropractic offices and holistic doctor's office and functional medicine, the anatomy on the wall and educating the patient or the client, the customer, of what's going on and helping them understand where things are connected, and not just sticking it on the wall, but using it for patient education so that the patient understands and they get more value out of what they're getting. And it's more therapy. Do you follow me? It's more of a medical treatment, if you want to call it that, without it saying the word medical. I haven't seen any unicorns, but let's just say that it goes back to that. Do you want them to enter a dreamland, of relaxation and just escapism? Do you know what I'm saying? So that if you want them to do that, then once again, it's just, you don't want the body and all the stress and everything. You want to just create this amazing environment that and you can see it very easily. Like you go to, I'm going to use the two examples. You go to a fine hotel's massage and you don't see I can't even say it. You don't see body pictures. You don't see them. You see, I don't know if you see the unicorns, but you see fine art and you see all of that because it's an escape. It's they're promoting, they're selling, you're going to get away and go to an escape. As opposed to the chiropractor, that this is part of your regimen to get healthy. And this is what you need to know. Does that help?
Yes.
So where are you? Where are you? Where do you lean? What do you lean? Because and that's the two extremes. Those are two extremes. So are there in the middle? Probably, I probably more of your, like I think of I'm going to call them the neighborhood massage clinics that they focus, a lot of them are franchises. Some of them are, some of them aren't. They tend to try to be in the middle of that, right? So I'm trying to think, do they have, they probably do have pictures of body parts in their room mixed with unicorns. They just mix it somehow. And just depending on what because they definitely are touching anybody and everybody.
I would agree with that. I would say that there is at least a percentage of people that are doing maybe that middle of the road. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Unoffensive. Yeah.
What was that, David?
Unoffensive.
Oh, unoffensive. Okay. Yeah.
Unoffensive.
Yeah.
Very much. Unoffensive. Very much. Yeah. And what are you trying to get out of it? I mean, if you're going for a regular monthly massage, for me, it's both. It's both therapeutic and escape. Do you know? It's both.
Mm.
And when I finally when I started going on regular massage, so my story is that my daughter was getting married, and the day before she got married, I did one of those, inexpensive, go get a massage at a neighborhood clinic. And of course they signed me up. I was like, okay, my daughter's going to be gone. I can afford this now. And I'm going to sign up for the monthly plan. And it was the best thing I ever did. It was the very best thing I ever did to have that regularity of getting a massage for my health and for my well-being. And it quit being if you think about the ones in the hotel, it's more luxury. It's kind of like design commercial versus design and residential. It's not a luxury when you find something that gives you that much return on your investment,
I love how much you love massage.
I do. I love it. I love it.
It's good.
I do.
Let's talk about the environment of the room again. And one of those things is lighting. What role does lighting play in creating the right atmosphere for a treatment room? And are there any easy adjustments therapists can make to improve both the functionality and the mood of their space?
Well, lighting, in a massage therapy room, it needs to be low light, period. It needs to be low enough that not dark enough that the people fall asleep, right? It needs to be light enough that there's just that, I don't know, there's that level. You guys know it. You just hit the light level where you can see what you're doing, but it's very, very serene. It's very low level. So to me, lighting in the massage space is just, you need the flexibility. You need to have the flexibility because obviously you're going to need to turn it. So what I do is I had the button. I automatically, when I'm finished, I turn the button way up. So I get all dressed and all ready and fix my makeup and all that stuff in the mirror. So they have to come back in and turn it back down. And I guess they know where that is. But I love as a customer being able to adjust that because I can't even see my face when I get up otherwise. So, I mean, giving that kind of flexibility makes a lot of sense. I don't know what you would do if you have, I'm trying to think of some spaces, if you have overhead light, you've got to turn it off and put lamps in the room. You don't have any other options.
Yeah.
Dimmable lamps and dimmable control. You just need the control.
Yes.
That's what I have because my overhead lighting, there's one big light in the ceiling I've got a couple of rooms and there's one in each room. And I turn them off and I have some lamps and some of the lamps I will turn on and off to make it a little bit more darker or a little bit brighter depending on the person. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have uplighting in my room, soft lighting and warm, the warm globes that give off that yellow light. because
More of
emotionally,
the
again, creating that warmth in the room. And I work with a lot of people who are neurodivergent and those who have sensory sensitivities. And they often have a story about being in a massage room that has had white, bright overhead light. And it's fine when you're facing down, but you roll onto your back and it's a real assault to the senses.
And the lights are on.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's terrible.
It's that clinical experience.
Yeah, no, that doesn't seem very appealing at all.
It's almost like being at the dentist.
Like being at the dentist and having the bright lights in your eyes.
Yeah.
They give you sunglasses.
They're never cool though.
That's funny. That's great. No, yeah, I know when we do rooms that have, any kind of medical, we make sure that the lights, we love not incandescents, excuse me. We love recessed cans when we can. But my most favorite light in a room is what we call indirect lighting, where the light goes up to the ceiling and then the ceiling reflects down. And there is direct downlight. My favorite lights do both. So you have two switches and they're both on dimmers and you can do whatever you need to do. So flexibility in lighting gives you so much more opportunity, because you definitely want to turn it way up and clean it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a restaurant. So that's what happens in restaurants. I don't know if you know that or not, but they have a whole light system that they blast the whole restaurant in when it's time to clean, that you don't see.
I had no idea. It makes so much sense.
Yeah. If you've ever been and I in my future, before I started doing healthcare, I did a few restaurants and things like that. And it's actually a health requirement to be able to turn the lights up that high to a certain light level so that you can clean.
Interesting.
Not quite as much as a surgery center, but you know what I'm saying, that type of idea.
Yeah. And
like what you're talking about with the dentist have to have a lot of light to do what they need to do. And they put reflectors on it, but you're right, it can get in your eyes. So you don't want to ever do that. Massage is totally opposite that. It's so far away from surgery. It's got to, your whole job is to help people de-stress. Isn't that one of the biggest things? That stress is so dangerous to our body that you're de-stress and relax and things of that sort. So fun.
Well, we've already touched on this a bit through our conversation, but we'll go back into a little bit more detail.
Okay.
But how can updating the design of a clinic lead to tangible business improvements like increased bookings and client retention?
So if we go back and think about the image that you have, one of the things that when people see spaces, when they see things, they buy first with their eyes. Well, one of the things that they're taking in is, I'm going to use things that are dated. Okay. If you are, so interior design, just like clothing, dates every 7 to 10 years. It's just the design of the world. Cars date every 7 to 10, you know what I'm saying? It's just design dates every 7 to 10 years. Websites date even faster than that because it's technology driven, but physical environments that we're talking about. So if you have a space that is dated, the colors are dated, the furniture is dated, the entry, the lobby, all those things is dated, what people feel like is that you're dated. You're not up to date. It's just an association. It's just a perception that it's like putting on dated clothes. You don't put on clothes that look like the 50s unless you're going to a 50s party, or people think you're dated or weird or something, So it's that way of keeping relevant to what you want to show up and how you want to show up as. I don't know how you dress as a therapist, but it's just like how you dress. If you dress, you're going to attract however you dress too. So if that answers your question, so just making sure that things are not dated, colors are not dated, furniture, equipment, that's one. I mean, another huge one to me is that, and I have a free resource for your listeners called the 5-point designer checklist. And we talk about the fact that, what's your first impression? Is it cluttered? Because, David, uncluttered spaces are more calming, period. Okay.
Yes, they are.
So when you talk about fluff, you have to control it so it doesn't feel like too many elements. Do you know what I'm saying? I was talking to someone earlier today. We were talking about pictures on the wall. It's like, it's okay to have blank space and then just it's just this picture has to be in scale to the wall, right? And if you don't have enough pictures, you put several pictures in a row so it feels like one picture and it reads as one picture. It's like if you ever put a grouping of pictures together, your mind reads it as one, as opposed to 3 pictures spread out on the wall and it doesn't connect together. So simplicity to bring that together helps the mind calm down. So that would be a piece. So is it uncluttered? Is it dirty? Is it dated? Is it damaged?
I love the word that you use there, simplicity, rather than even uncluttered, but having simple lines and things that are really easy to look at where your brain's not going, oh, that's too much.
Yes. And so let's talk about that in a second. So traditional design, okay, everyone understands traditional design, the classics and all those things. If you really see a well-designed traditional space, there's a lot of elements, but they're repeated. So your mind starts to, there's really not that many different elements in it. Right. It's just, there's a lot, they just are all combined together. Your mind combines them together.
Okay.
You understand that. Think about the classics. Think about the beautiful, like the Parthenon, and it's like got all those columns and all those details, but they're repeated.
Yes.
So that repetition, your mind reads it as one unit, as opposed to 15 columns.
Yes.
And that's how you need to think about when design. So it's that when I say simple, hear that piece.
Yeah.
It's different than minimalist. Minimalist is not much details at all.
Yeah.
As opposed to combined details. Does that help?
Yes.
So it's kind of a theory of design. So
no,
I'm looking at the color palette within your
really
room.
good.
I have the advantage of being able to see you on video. Our listeners will be listening maybe in their car. But if I describe the colors that I see in your room, there's like an ocean gray, an ocean blue, and a warm gray, I would say, and that does give the impression to me of calmness and serenity. Are there particular color palettes that therapists could be investigating to enhance the mood and feel? And what colors should they be avoiding?
Okay, so take a color wheel, and you'd imagine, the color wheel. If you could divide it in half, there's what they call warm colors and cool colors in the fullness. Okay, so if you think of colors that are on the cool side bring calmness to your body. So they're the blues, they're the greens, they get into the purples as long as the purple doesn't get too red. Okay. The other side, the orange, the yellow, the red create energy. They create puristic energy. Okay. So that's kind of a general in the U of colors. And then as you mute colors, it reduces the energy. So as you lower the intensity. So if you take a color wheel and you take red on one side and you take green on the other side, which is the opposite on the color wheel, and you blend them together, it begins to be brown and it mutes the colors. Okay. So the more muted a color is, the lower the energy is versus the more intensity of the color. So it's not just the color, it's the intensity of the color along with the coolness or the color, if that makes sense. So overall, blue is the most healing color next to green. Okay. It's just those two are just known to be calming and healing. And as long as they don't get too intense, you can take blue and make it vibrant electric blue and it won't feel the same way as a calm blue, if that helps. And then you were also talking about I think the other thing in health is you need to bring in nature as much as you can. So I think woods and natural stones and natural plants and things of that sort. Now, I don't really know if you'd have a plant in your massage room, but if you had a clinic, you had a larger massage therapy space, you might have plants in the lobby, and plants are so healing. There's so much, not just do they feel healing, but they actually heal the air. They
Yes.
help
Yes.
the air quality, and do whatever you can. Like you were talking about that one space that had, were you getting fumes from the paint or whatever it was?
Yes.
I mean, that would be the opposite of what you'd ever want to do.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was the worst decision I've made in my business career.
I know. That's crazy.
You learnt a lot though, David.
I did. I did learn a lot. It was educational effort.
When you think about design, we're talking about the smells and stuff like that. Smells create so much memory.
Yeah.
And what can you do to enhance the smells and fine hotels have their own scent, right? Whether it's healthy or not, that's a whole nother story. But, what kind of aromatherapies can you do? What kind of essential oils can you do just to have that actually have healing properties and things of that sort? So smell. We already talked a little bit about touch, and a massage therapist, besides the fact you're touching, it's what are the people feeling? The table, the sheets, the things, the blankets, all of those things. That's important, even probably more because their eyes are closed, So those other senses are heightened because of that. We talked about sound, making sure it's quiet. I'm not sure about taste, except that water at the end is wonderful, right? So. But that whole idea, just bringing in all those other senses.
Yes.
Is important. Yeah. So do you guys do all that?
A lot of it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I know I was very excited to have my own space and have full control over the rooms that I was leasing, because I could get some actual living plants in my space where I'd never been able to do that before. And I love having the greenery in the rooms and having some beautiful plants. And my husband actually said to me a few times, Jackie, what do you keep going to buy plants for? Like, we've got enough plants. I'm like, never. We've never got enough. I have calmed down now though.
Yeah. My biggest thing for plants is that they do need to be real. Fake plants are evil, because you watch a client when they see a plant and they will reach out and they will touch the leaves.
Yeah.
And that glossy, waxy feel that is very tactile. And if it's fabric or plastic, you can almost see them recoil from it.
Yeah.
You can. Especially in a space like a massage therapy. Now, if it's like up on somewhere where they're not touching, but you're right. It's real plants create a whole different energy. Now, how do you keep them alive? Because you have a dark room, right?
They've got to be circulated.
You have to rotate them, and you have to move them around. So sometimes they might be by the front window, and then you might put them a little bit further down the hallway for a week. And and it depends on the time of year as well, because we do get very dark winters here in Adelaide. And even if you go a little bit more south in parts of Australia, like Tasmania is very south and gets very dark through winter. So
I think the hardest thing on plants is air conditioning, because the air becomes very dry. I don't have plants inside my treatment room. I have done in the past, but they do die in there, and that room is kept hotter than other spaces. But they are in my waiting area. Again, having that peace and serenity when you walk into that first space of the building.
Yeah. Now, do you guys have serenity rooms? I think they're called, where you have people check in and then they kind of wait there quietly before they go back, or anything like that?
I have a waiting room. Yeah. So I work from home, and I have the luxury of having a portable building in my backyard, where they enter off the street through a private gate into this space. They don't need to walk through my house. And there's 3 spaces in that room. There is the waiting room with my counter and a couple of chairs. There's the treatment room. And then the very back of the building is the toilet and the storeroom. So they interact mostly with those first two spaces. And the feeling of those 2 spaces is different, where the treatment room is dimly lit, is very warm, very soft and comfortable, and the entry space is brighter, and they're about to go back outside when they're leaving. which again can be a bit of an assault on a hot summer's day where the sun is very bright. So it's brighter, a bit more utilitarian, but still quiet and comfortable.
So it's almost like you have the outside brightness, kind of a medium encapsulation, then the darkness, then they go back out again. So there's a transition. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
And Jackie, what about you?
I'm a little bit the same. I have a brightly lit reception area. My massage space is a separate room where you can close the door, so you can make it quite dark if you want to. And then I do have an office room as well, which is usually brightly lit. Yeah.
That's just really for you, though.
Yeah, that's
right?
mostly for me. Yeah, that's usually they would be in the office to pay, or if I had specific questions, usually maybe a first appointment would come into the office with me.
Okay.
Because we might be chatting a bit more about things, but most of the time they don't really spend any time in the office, maybe a minute or two just to pay. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome.
How will, if one of our listeners is interested in contacting you, how should they best reach you, Carolyn?
So we have a website named crossfieldsdesign.com, and you can do a complimentary consultation. It's about an hour of time that you can actually discuss your project with one of our consultants, and they'll process through ideas and what, if you want services, we can talk about what the services could look like, et cetera. So we do everything from facelifts to total new build. We even do ground up. I don't know if we'd do ground up in Australia, but we would do ground up in the United States, but we do new build. And the way we work is that we act as the architects and interior designers exclusively in the United States. In Australia and other places, we work as the architect and the interior designer and start the architecture, but then we partner with a local architect to finish up anything that we need to do. Now, if it's finishes related, you don't have to get permits and things of that sort, but if that answers your question. And then we have that free resource. So it's crossfieldsdesign.com/listeners. And you can get that 5-point designer checklist to kind of start, like, what is my image? What would you do? And it's intended to be used as a checklist to kind of give you some direction and then some ideas of what to do.
Awesome. We will pop those website links and in the show notes for everybody as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for you guys to you've got some, did I give you any ideas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Good.
I don't know about David, but I'm sitting here wanting to book a massage and go and find that serenity and those beautifully muted colors and the greenery and have somebody burrito me up in some soft, gorgeous towels. Like, that's what I'm like, who is doing that and where can I go right now?
Yeah. I've got some work to do in my own space, which I've been putting off for a long time.
Well, it's a investment in order to you should get a return on. And so the return comes from what happens, a couple of things happen, is that you get renewed because you get proud of your space, right? It's just like a fresh paint. You know how it is if you've ever moved out of the house and all the work you do and you go, why didn't I do this before when I lived here? It's like, why don't we do it while we live there? But the other thing is that you'll have your clientele will be more inspired. Oh, what'd you do? The ones that are coming on a regular basis. The other thing we see is people refer people more. Yeah. So when someone has clients that have been coming a long time and then they get a facelift, it's like all of a sudden that client who's been coming a long time starts referring.
Wow.
Because they're proud. They're proud of the space. Do you know?
Yeah.
They're proud to send someone there. So it does increase your business. Absolutely.
All right. I think we'll wrap things up. Thank you for joining us today, Carolyn. It's been lovely to talk to you.
It has been great chatting with you. Thank you so much for coming on the show with us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
make sure that you head to crossfieldsdesign.com/listeners, download that 5-point design checklist. We will provide a link in the show notes. If you have questions for Carolyn, we can reach out to her directly through that website, crossfieldsdesign.com. And Jackie, we are going to wrap things up. It has been another fun episode. I've taken a lot away today. How about you?
Yes, actually, I have. As I'm doing my massages, I'm always like, oh, I should do this. So I should put a picture here or, just a little something. I think I'm definitely going to do that now. I'm going to action that instead of just thinking about it. So, yeah.
For our listeners, walk into your room as if you're the client. Walk in through your own front door and take a look around, have a seat. How do you feel in your own space? Thanks for joining us today, Carolyn. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in the next episode, Jackie.
We will. We'll be here. Thanks, everyone, for listening. See you, David. See you, Carolyn.
See you later.
Bye.